Welcome to Contemplative Living, where we view contemplations for the week to have a better understanding of our spiritual paths. This is Contemplative Living with Dave Bennett, contemplations and reflective meditations. Hello and welcome to another Contemplative Living. This is where we talk about concepts to bring contemplative living, our meditation, our reflections into our daily lives. Today, I'd like to start with something that Deepak Chopra said, a quote from Deepak Chopra. Many scientists think that philosophy has no place. So for me, it's a sad time because the role of reflection, contemplation, meditation, self inquiry, insight, intuition, imagination, creativity, and free will is in a way not given any importance, which is the domain of philosophers. I think what he's trying to say is, our life is pretty barren if we don't bring reflection and contemplation into our lives. A practice of meditation enriches our lives so much more. All right. Well, give a shout out if you're watching this live. I love to acknowledge that you're there. And this morning, let's get started. So, in meditation and in contemplation, we get to celebrate the magnificence of your radiant, joyful spirit. We don't do this enough. We really don't celebrate ourselves. We don't celebrate that which has really propelled us forward in life is when we're in our heart center, when we're in that joyful spirit that is who we really are, our true nature. Now, do we give ourselves time to be joyful? Do we give ourselves time to celebrate our magnificence? Mm, not very much. Not very much. It's a thing that we just don't do. We just don't do it. And so we need more time. We need more time to do that. And we need to carve that time out because we just don't give it to ourselves. But when we do, it lifts us up, it buoys us up so that we can be that magnificent being in our day to day life. So express your uniqueness, that special light of your essence that only you can give to the world. You know, we are all unique, and each and every one of our lives is special, and uniqueness is prevalent throughout our entire life. We don't give any credit to that. And a lot of times, that's where our creative nature springs. It springs forth in so many different ways. We can bring that creative part of ourself into our work, into our play, into our rest, into our activity. And when we're being totally ourselves, our unique selves, we're being authentic. We're being authentic. And a lot of this is about authenticity. We tend to tamp down our joy, we tend to tamp down our creativeness. so that we're compliant with what social norms may seem. But how fun is that? How's that working for you? A lot of times we feel depressed because we're not being true to ourselves. It brings us down if we can't be honest, if we can't be authentic. So express your uniqueness. Express who you are. Bring it out to the world and show the world who you really are. Meditation focuses on the light within. In many wisdom traditions, light represents pure awareness. So, why don't we meditate more? Why don't we focus on the light within ourselves? When I meditate and I go into that light that is within my heart center, there's an expansiveness, and that expansiveness is of pure love. And within that love is compassion and is joy and is a sense of self empowerment that radiates into all the cells of my being. And so that when I come out of that meditation, I can bring that light with me in the presence of awareness. So it comes with me, that light, that awareness comes with me into my day to day and allows me to have that insight, to walk through my day with a connection to that higher awareness, to that insight and intuitiveness, like Deepak Chopra was saying, that we have all of that. Besides our rational mind, we also have the ability to work with our heart center and to have reflection and contemplation and insight and intuitiveness and bring all of that from our meditation into our day to day life. It makes life so much more rich. It makes life just seem worth living, you know? So, contemplation is a state of consciousness that illuminates darkness and allows us to see with eyes of love, wisdom, and joy. I mean, we started out talking about joy and and joy is a part of love. It's a part of compassion. It's a part of helping our fellow man. And to spend time in contemplation in that state of consciousness, we shine a candle on our own darkness and so that we can see it clearly and we can see it with the eyes of love because we can love all of ourselves. Loving all of ourselves is kind of one of the purposes I think that we're all here. We come here in the shadow of separation, makes us feel like we're separate individuals when we know now that that is an illusion, that we all are interconnected. But yet, when we go into contemplation and we reach that state of consciousness that is so expansive, it allows us to shine a light at ourselves, to see ourselves clearly, see our dark, see our light, and see it through love and to see it with wisdom. So here the wisdom is the bridge. We have wisdom within our hearts, we have wisdom within our rational mind. And it's the bridge that brings love and compassion from our heart into the rationale that we're using to discern what's going on in our lives. So, As our relationship with oneness grows, clarity dawns. We become lighthearted and stop taking ourselves so seriously. We let go of struggle and live in the flow of life. I know that when I'm in that flow of life, it just things happen on a more simple level and in a more complete and easy way of moving forward in life. I was on a podcast this week and we were talking about trying to maintain our center so that we can live in the flow. Because, and it's easy to recognize, because when we're not living within the flow, we're not honoring our relationship with oneness, then when we try to push something and create something that is causing resistance, that's a signal to tell us that we're really not in the flow. Because when we're in oneness, when we are honoring our relationship with oneness, the clarity helps us to realize, oh, resistance means maybe it's not time for that. If I'm getting pushback, then maybe it's not time there. So go into my heart, bring that lightness and clarity, and not take it so seriously, and move in another direction that seems to be being laid in front of us, and making, and we get all these little indicators throughout life that say, oh, maybe you shouldn't go left, maybe you should go right, or maybe you're gone too far right and you need to come a little bit back to center. And so letting go of the struggle and allow life to unfold. When I released control, that's when life really started to unfold. And that's when I found some of the most positive things come into my life at that time. So when we reverberate in deep appreciation, joy, self worth, truth, and love, we experience our wholeness and oneness with all creation. So that vibration of deep appreciation, of gratitude. And gratitude is all encompassing. When we're in pure appreciation, it encompasses every aspect of our life. And some of the fragments of our life may not be desirable at this moment, but we're grateful for the experience of going through it so that we may help others, so that we may understand more, so that we may move forward with that experience. So when we vibrate in deep appreciation and we bring in some joy, it builds our self worth, it builds on our truth. And I'm talking about our personal truth. And we begin to expand. And with that expandness, we start to really appreciate the wholeness and the oneness of all creation. Because it's not all just about us, it's about all of us. It's about we, not me. And so when we start to live with that expanded consciousness of we, that I'm not that separate individual, and that I can live life and appreciate life, then I know that I am living the way I was meant to be within my purpose. So, in our deep innermost states, we are powerful and dynamic with the ability to shift the experience around us with purpose and presence. So, okay. Wow, I see a lot of folks are here this morning. Thank you. Ken, Teresa, Charles, Stephen, Shirley, Richard. Say hey to all of you. So, we're talking about our contemplative Helen. Good morning. We're talking about using meditation, using reflection, contemplative times in our life to reach into the innermost states of awareness where we are powerful, we are dynamic. And when we bring that into our day to day life, when that you cannot meditate and contemplate and do reflective meditations without it permeating our being, without that power and that dynamic deepness of expansive consciousness permeating into who we are. And then we're able to shift our physical experience. We're able to bring that into our day to day, our walking life, and bring that shift with us. And it permeates from us at that point. It's so powerful that I don't think we give it enough credit to be that person. To, a lot of times we think of power as something that is is not attractive, but it gives us that drive. It gives us that what we need to move forward in life, because shift doesn't just happen on its own. It needs a seed of our intention. It needs a seed of our motivation to move it, to put it into motion. So, in order to shift, we have to be present. We have to recognize when things are moving smoothly and when things aren't moving so smoothly, because we're present, we're aware, we have that greater awareness, and we bring that with us into our day to day life. I want to thank you for listening to my ramble this morning. It's been an honor, and namaste.